What is up, Green Teamers? We're starting on conducting showings today. This is part 4 of 6 of conducting a home search. We're going to talk about following showing instructions, preparing the property, touring the property, and getting feedback from buyers, and then leaving the property. All part of that showing process. So first up, you're going to get different types of showing instructions when you request a showing on showing time. That agent can give you different showing instructions. One of those is going to be lockbox type. Hopefully, it's the lockbox type everyone's using, and it's very simple. Sometimes you'll see combo box, which means you need an actual combo, usually a 4-digit code that you need to open up those lockboxes. But you want to pay attention to the lockbox type and location. If you're showing a bunch of properties within one tour, you want to make sure you make notes on your showing sheets of those MLS printouts so that you know when you get to the property you're not scared. The most important thing probably to know is the alarm code, and if there is an alarm code, that's a really bad situation when you get to a house. You open the door and the alarm starts beeping like it's about to go off, and you have no idea that you had no idea there was supposed to be an alarm. So pay extra attention to that. Again, if you're showing houses with alarms on a tour, make sure your MLS sheets all have the alarm codes written down on there so that you don't get into the situation where you're having to deal with an alarm going off and looking bad in front of your buyers. Also, directions. It's a really good idea to just get a general idea of your directions. If you're going to show a bunch of properties in an area you don't know that well, go drive it the day before, go drive through the neighborhood. If you're showing houses that are new builds, especially, those don't always map properly when you're doing Google or Apple Maps. So make sure you go through there and go check out those houses. It also might tell you if a house you thought is complete based off the way it's written in the MLS is actually just now being built. It all helps you to look better in front of your buyers if you do that extra preparation beforehand instead of just doing it the day of and looking bad in front of your buyers. So that's showing instructions, then preparing the property. So if you're just showing one property and you're meeting a client at the property, you've already met them before, but you're just showing them today one property, get there at least 10 minutes early. Go through the house, make sure all the lights are on, make sure the windows and blinds are open to get the most natural light possible through the house. Walk through the house just to notice if there's anything you should maybe adjust, like putting toilet seat lids down or whatever. Get the property as prepared as possible because you want to sell that property to those buyers and you want to make sure they feel the best they possibly could walking into that property. So go ahead and prepare the property, walk through the property with them. Once we have it prepared, we're going to tour the property. So safety first, always when you're touring a property, make sure you're following the buyers. Don't be in a situation where you could potentially get locked in a room with your buyers behind you. Always make sure you're in a safe situation. Follow them throughout the house. You're highlighting features as you go throughout the house. Don't point out things like this is a kitchen, this is a bathroom. But what you should have done is your homework, especially while preparing the property. You could have walked through the house and noticed things about the house or made your notes about different things when you talk to the listing agent, when you scheduled your showings, that you can highlight while you're going through the house. You want to tell them things they don't already know about the house. And then show your passion. Show them you enjoy the showing process. Show them you enjoy real estate. Share your passion with them about showing the house. You'll make them feel a lot better about the whole experience. And you won't make it look like work or make them feel like they're obligated or make them feel like you're having to do something you don't want to do. Make sure you're showing your passion while you're touring the property. It's part of our job to make that experience really fun for buyers. This is kind of a very rare opportunity for them when they're buying houses, very rare for them to walk through people's houses. So remember, you got to make it a fun experience for them and take down any of their concerns. Leaving the property, we always want to leave the lights exactly as we found them, unless we were specifically told by the listing agent. Sometimes they say make sure you leave all the lights on or make sure you turn them all off or whatever. So follow that. Otherwise, just leave them exactly how you found them. If all the lights were on in the house when you got there, leave all the lights on. Maybe they got other showings. Make sure the doors are locked exactly as they were locked before you got there. If the door between the garage and the house was not locked when you got there, don't lock it when you leave. So just leave everything exactly as you found it. And then you can also let the listing agent know if there's anything of concern, like you noticed the door wasn't locked or something, just so they have a heads up. Getting feedback from buyers. So one of the keys to getting feedback from buyers is not to do it in the house. Almost everybody has some form of cameras or surveillance that they use in their houses now. If you talk about the property in the house, the buyers are potentially limiting their leverage and also could cause all kinds of different problems. So don't get your feedback from the buyers in the house. Now they can comment on specific items as they're walking through, that's fine, but you don't want to get big comments like, if they want to buy the house, if they have to have the house, if they think the house is overpriced, underpriced, things like that. That's not the information we want to get from them while we're sitting in the house. You can do that in the driveway. You can do it on the phone right after the showing, or you can do it later that night. Just don't get that feedback specifically on what they want to do in that house while you're in the house. You want to get their likes, dislikes, and favorites. So, what'd you like about the house? What'd you dislike about the house? And then we want to ask a really important question about every house that we show. What would keep you from making an offer? One, we want to push them to realizing this is a serious decision and we would like them to take it seriously. But two, we want to know what's holding them back from making an offer because that can help guide us in what other properties we're going to show them. So ask them that question about every house. Again, just don't do it in the property. One great time to do it is kind of when you're out at your cars and you're away from surveillance, potential cameras, or anything. What would keep you from making an offer? It's a great question to ask to kind of clear it up. So that's conducting showings all the way from using the instructions, preparing the property, touring the property, getting that feedback, and how to leave the property. We'll see you guys over in the next conducting a home search lesson.